Ajit, and today I am going to describe some new things like resource management in Puppet, how to manage the resource in Puppet, creating a class environment, setting up environment, as well as making a file server and using through this Puppet. So Puppet will help me to set the file over the network. So first and foremost, I have this machine which is working as a Puppet server, right? Right. So this is the one, and the main configuration file of Puppet is right here, Puppet Lab and Puppet.conf. This is the one, and if you look into this file, yeah, I went with through some default configuration, so I did not add anything here. But if you see, like the code directory means the place where you keep the code is this. So if you go inside this location, you can find environment name of folder, right, along with the module one. We can see the PID file of a file which contain the process ID. The runtime directory is here, the log location is here, as well as the where directory is out here. Correct. So this is what the default configuration is, and there are so many other configuration set. If you want to look into Puppet config print, so this will basically show you the default variables managed or set by Puppet itself. So you can enter it and you can see there are so many other things which are there, right? So starting from the top, if you want to modify these variables, so you need to go to the main configuration file of Puppet, puppet.conf, and use this variable and change the value. So if I look this from top, let me use the less. So yeah, this is a location of the certificates, right? Um, these are client directories. Some code locations is there. The configuration directory is there. The configuration file is here, right? So yeah, this is how you can find the default parameter which is set or managed by Puppet itself, and this is by default directory which basically contain the pp file, the Puppet program inside, right? So yeah, this is how you can fetch the detail of this thing, Puppet, right? So let's come to the topic, etc. Puppet, then Puppet.conf. This is the main configuration file. This is directory basically, right? Yeah, right here. All right. So it is a time to write some resource. So let's come to the place opt Puppet. Then you have server, and okay. So let's go back to the server one, and inside the server there's some data. So environment production. Yeah. So I'm currently here, etc Puppet Lab code. Inside the code, you have environment folder. Inside the environment, there is a single environment as of now, right? So under in this environment by name called production, we have some set of files and folder. So if you want to create a one more environment, yes, you can create inside. Let's focus first on writing a resource. So enter into the manifest. So manifest is basically a directory which contain the node definition, right? So if you look here, there is nothing, and this is the location, right? So the code, basically the Puppet code, are written in the file which has pp extension. So you can create any file by the name pp, right? I mean sorry, it's a pp extension, right? This is what And by default environment is production. So if you don't specify any environment here in the Puppet, then production will be considered as a default environment for the Puppet infrastructure. So once you enter into the file, it's a blank file, of course. So first and foremost, you have to specify the name of node which you want to manage through Puppet. So I'm going to write node. That is how we write it. So first you have to write node and then the single quote and the name of node that you want to manage. So here it's puppet agent1.com. This is a kind of a method of writing the code, right? So node space single quote, the name of node, then a closing quote, single opening bracket. Inside this bracket, you have to write the resource. So let's come to this file. So this is technically called a node definition. So you have specified the node, open bracket and close bracket. In between, you can write the resource, right? So your package, user, services, these are called resources. So if you want to see how many default resources are available in the machine, you can write Puppet resource and type. So you can see the default TYPES. So yes, you can see these are the set of different resources available. I can count it now. So currently 26 resources are there, right? So let's rerun again. So yeah, we have exec to execute something. File resource will help you to create a file or something, copying, creating a file and all. Group resource will help you to manage the group. Mount is there, host is there, right? User will help you to create a user, right? So there SSH will help you to manage this SSH key kind of thing. Service is basically ensure that your service is running. So these are the resources, right? Now if you want to know more about this cron resource, so you can write Puppet describe cron resource, press tab key and cron and enter. So here you can see at the top the definition of this cron, right? So cron is basically used to install and manage the cron job, right? Every cron resources created by Puppet require a command. So this is basically a section where which will help you to know more about the cron. And here we have example given, so you can use maybe copy paste it and modify the certain value, right? So we have some examples given already, and these are the parameters. So yes, you may need to use definitely the parameter along with the value. So let me show you this thing, how to use it. So here I have a file, and inside this node definition you are supposed to write the resource, right? So the syntax is like you have to first write the name of resource that you want to manage. So let's say for example I want to manage a package, so write a package here first, and then open curly bracket, single quote, name of package that you, it is basically a title. So the first field is the resource type, then you have a title, attribute and value. So you can write a title can be anything, right? So let's see, maybe a file server kind of, right? And then you can use name equal the name of package that you want to manage, so vsftpd, right? And do not forget to this thing, single quote, and in the last is a comma. So that is the one. So here the name is basically attribute and the value is vsftpd. So how to collect this attribute? So you just recently run a command Puppet describe resource and package. So it will tell that what this package used for and what are the parameter, what are the attribute there. So yeah, next is ensure. It is either you can write install or present. Present means software need to be installed. Ensure that it is installed. So close it. So this particular code or the resource, this thing will basically ensure that your package is installed. So if the package is not installed, this code will install it. If the package is installed already, it will not do anything. So that is what we call idempotent behavior. So it's not going to override something if the things are already in the same place, in the right place. Correct. So the next is like I want to start a service. So you can write vsftpd, or maybe you can write some title, and title need not to be duplicate because I use one file server, so I cannot reuse the same name as a title, right? So maybe anything which you like to, you are free to choose anything here, right? Any name basically. And then you can write the name of particular service that you want to manage. So as I remember, the name of service is this, right? Comma, and ensure it is running, right? And enable true, which means once you reboot the machine, the service will be up automatically, and then you can close it. And so yeah, my file is ready. So this is very basic thing. This is how we write a resource, and you can see the code basically. So we have yeah, this is correct, and this one is also cool. Yeah, so let's save this up. So your file is ready, right? This one, this one. Let's come to the agent machine now. You can see there is no package queue for query vsftpd. There is no package by called vsftpd. So puppet agent -t, t for test, enter. So what it says that your environment is deployment, which is set in this configuration file, because I said something, I was testing something earlier, so I did not I think remove that setting. So let's remove this up. Okay, so let's rerun again. So yes, you see it is connected through Puppet, and downloading or applying the catalog. Yeah. So we know the process. So once you run this command, this puppet agent -t, then the agent machine is going to send a facts to the master. Facts means that the basically it's a state of the machine. How many softwares are there? What is the kernel package and everything? So what master machine do? Master machine first look these your name of machine against the record under in manifest folder basically. So it basically verify that whether your machine is a part of my database or not. So in my case, yes, it was a part of that. Like I mentioned that agent1.example.com. The second step is the master is going to look into, is there anything new which I'm supposed to deploy to the client agent basically. So yes, if the answer is yes, in my case, yes, the answer was yes, because I added some code. So now master will basically set up a catalog basically the requirement along with the dependencies. So that catalog is pushed to the agent, and now agent is going to deploy this thing. You can see in front of you. Once this thing is done, agent send this report back to the master, and master basically update this thing, the state of your machine, into their record, so that in next time if you rerun the command now, you can see it is not going to deploy anything. You see, because once the request come to the master, now master see the state of the machine as well as the code which is there in the manifest folder, and both are correct. I mean, both are in the same sync. The state of these two things are same, so there's nothing to apply, and the answer is, you see. So this is how everything work, right? Your software is installed. You can see rpm space -q space vsftpd, right? The software is there, and the service is started. vsftpd. If I remove this one, vsftpd, right? If I check this up, there is no service, of course, there is no service running. So puppet agent -t, enter. You see all these two resources are package and service resource are deployed, and the file server, this is the name of title, and this is also title. How about if just you stop the service, stop vsftpd. So it will, if you rerun now, it is going to check that the state of the machine, and it found that only one thing is not in the correct place, correct state, and yes, it is changed. So this is the beauty of the puppet. So puppet ensure that all the machines have a all the machines are consistent in term of their code, in term of their state, right? So that is the one part, right? Let's come to here. There is a concept of class in one thing more. Node. How about if the node is not a part of this? Like, just see that first. Default, right? Open bracket and close bracket. If the machine is not mentioned here, so there is a default section. So all if the machine is not a part of, it's not going to match here somewhere in between the list, then it goes by default under in this section. So default means all the machines which are not listed down here will automatically come to this part. So let me show you. I'm going to write something here just for testing, just to ensure you. Package, 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 and maybe anything, right? And then name equal FTP and ensure it is present and close it, right? And let's make it agent 12. So when agent 1 requests to the master, and definitely there is no agent 1 mentioned here, so it will automatically fall under in this category. So let's see, I'm going to rerun this command on my agent machine. So puppet agent -t. You see the software is installed, correct? So what I wanted to say ki, if the machine is not there in this list, then you can write some common code for all rest of the machines. Like here you can see the default code for every machines which is not mentioned here down, right? Okay, this is the one part. Second is we have a concept of classes. So class is basically a collection of resource. So let's suppose that there's one more machine, and let me do that. Yeah, let's suppose that we have one more machine, one more node. For an example is in 2.example.com, and you want the same job need to be running here. So what you can do, either you can write whole the code again, or maybe copy paste, which is I think not good, because it makes your file heavy, because you are going to duplicate the same code again and again, right? So in that case, what you can do, you can create a class right at the top, and you can simply call the class. So you can see, let's say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So okay, 10 lines are there. So 10 dd. At the top you can write class, name of class, it can be anything, you can write whatever you want. My class, open bracket, write the code, whatever code you want to interesting. So let's see, you just need to write a code once, right? Package, and then ensure installed and close it. One more time. See, the beauty of the class is you just need to go to the node section and simply write include CLUDE and the name of class, my class, and do the same job for node 2 as well. Include my class. See, this is what the use of class. Write a code once and use a number of times. So on the client machine, I don't think there is any machine by the name called 12 agent 12 or 2, because my machine name is agent 1. So let's remove this one and go back to the agent machine. Now remove the software first. You can see the software is here, right? So remove it. So there is no software called FTP now. Puppet agent -t. Yeah, it is installed. So that is what we call class. So class is basically it's a collection of resource, right? So class space any name of this class, and you can write your code, and simply call it through the include as a parameter. So include space the name of class, right? Next is so now we are clear bit about what is class, right? And uh, writing the process how to write a resource. Now we are moving on to the next part, which is environment. So environment is basically a way to segregate your code. So let's assume that you have a thousands machine where X number of machines belong to the development cycle, the Y machines, number of machines belong to a certain different uh, uh, stage. I mean, the group of machines are different. Let's say, for example, production is there. You have a few machines belong to the development, few machines belong to the testing, few machines belong to something else. So how we can write a code of these different set of machine? What you can do, you can create a different environment inside the Puppet and keep the code down there. So let's say I have a environment called development, and I can write the code which is related to the development, and I will tell to the my agent machine, just call the particular you have to join a agent machine under in certain environment. By default, the whole infrastructure belong to the production, which is the default environment. So if you don't specify any environment name, it is considered as a production. But if you have some custom environment created, then in that case you need to tell to your agent to connect to the certain environment. So here you can see if you run the command puppet config, right, and print, and if you see the this thing environment, so you can see the default environment is production. This is environment. This is the manifest one. So environment is production. You can see at default, right? So how to create a environment, right? So by default we have an environment created through the Puppet, and these are the file folders by default available. So the location of creating environment is this. So etc Puppet Lab code and environment. So this is a place where you have to create a new environment. So maybe why not you can copy this thing, this one through the name deployment, right? So cp space hyphen r, yeah, yeah. And there is a directory structure of a new environment. So means is that your environment must have this file, the environment.conf file, as well as the manifest and module, and these are optional, data and Hira, right? So what this environment file contain? Environment file basically contain the module path, basically the location of your module, right? As well as the configuration version is there, some default timeout is there. So this is a basic default setting in this this file, right? And manifest is a place where you will write your pp file, where you will write your code for Puppet in respect of client, and module I will discuss this later. So if you want to know more about this thing, you can simply go to puppet.com doc puppet 618 platform. So 618 is the latest the one which is running currently, right? So let's come to the environment section. So what is environment? An environment is a branch that get turned into a directory on your master, right? So if you go little back, so environment are isolated group of agent nodes. So with the help of environment, you can isolate your node, creating environment. So here you have something like the environment basically contain the module as a folder. It contain the manifest as a directory. It contain a Hira, which is optional, but yes, it also contain environment.conf. It is again kind of optional, but there are two folders that need to be there, which is the one is module and the second one is manifest, right? So the main manifest is a starting point of compiling the catalog, right? A module path is basically a variable which is set inside this environment.configuration file, which tells to the master about the location of the module, the place where the modules are resided. Hira, I will discuss this later. So yeah, environment file basically contain the module path, it contain the manifest location, configuration version along with the environment timeout. How to create an environment? So you need to go to the code folder which is inside etc puppet lab, then puppet and then code. Under in the environment folder, you have to create a one directory, like in my case deployment, right? uh, so that is a one. Create a module folder and manifest. So these two directories need to be there at least, right? And if you want, you can cross check it. So that is the thing. Anything else? No. I will discuss this thing later. Assign node to the environment via enc. So see, currently all my node definitions are inside the manifest directory. So inside manifest, I have a node.pp file, and I'm writing all the name of node, which is good, but it is difficult to manage, because see, you have a 1000 node, so which means that you need to write a 1000 machine name there. The answer is that is the one way of doing this thing. I mean, yes, you can write it. Otherwise, you can fetch the machine name directly from enc, external node classifier, right, which I will discuss later, right, how to write enc. So instead of writing the node directly into the node.pp file or whatever the pp file is there, you can simply fetch the node somewhere from outside, right? So this is what the use of enc. We'll discuss this later. Anyways, let's come to the topic. So here I have deployment, and I can see this list of different directory structure, right? So you can simply go to this folder and there's nothing. So create a file by any name and make a extension. And we know that the first thing is the node section, node definition. So name of node need to be written first, and then so let's say, for example, uh, my web server, and the name of package is this thing, httpd, which I wanted to install and ensure it is present. So the role of Puppet is just to ensure whether this thing is in the place or not. If it is not there, we'll install it. If it is installed, we'll not do anything. The next resource may be a service resource. The name of this thing is and ensure running. If you write it started now, so it started may not be the correct value. How to check that whether it is correct or not? You can just go to the Puppet describe resource and service, and you can see there is no value called started. So because I am using this Puppet since long, so I remember those this thing means the attribute and value. But if someone is new, then I think they need to spend some time to work with this thing. Yes, my code is ready. Let's check this up. I can see this closing bracket. It's correctly placed. Okay. And there's a command called puppet parser validate validat and the name of file. So this is also one way to doing this thing. If you have some issue in the file now, it will tell that. Let's say I forgot this thing, this closing bracket. And if I run this up, it says that at the end of the file there is something could not force the environment production syntax error. So yes, this is just to validate if the file is on the correct state or not, the code, the placement of the those things are placed correctly or not. So yes, it seems that your file is ready, and currently I'm a part of the production deployment, right? So if I go to my agent machine and if I see my default the environment, so yes, it is by default let's grab it -i production. So you can see by default you're a part of production. So if I run this command now, it will not connect to the deployment. It will go and check the production. So how you can tell to your machine, the agent machine, that so you can do this thing through by passing a parameter called environment deployment. Environment is deployment, right? Puppet agent -t, enter. You see it is going to connect to this thing. I will come to that. You can see there's an issue STTT 3 times T, which is not good. It is HTTPD. So there's a typo, but yes, you see it is connected to this thing. Anyways, let's come to this file and correct the issue. It is not HTTP. It is just 2 times T, right? Okay, so back to here, Puppet agent -t, enter. Yeah, interesting. So all 2 resources are deployed. I can see that. Yes, systemctl status httpd. It's running, right? So yeah, this is the thing. So now we have an idea about the environment, right? Let's come to the next part, which is a module. How to write a module here. So let's come to the same deployment. You can see there's a module folder, right? So module is what? Module is basically a collection of your code, collection of your fact, collection of your classes. So it is more like a kind of it's a collection of the multiple things together. Like you can keep everything inside the one directory and call it whenever you need it. You can call whenever you need it. Let's say I have one module called HTTP, and this module contain the package definition, it contain the service definition, it contain the files, some static files which need to be copied. I mean, everything is there inside the single module, and you can share this module with other people as well, or maybe sometime you can publish. Yeah. So yeah, this is what the module is. Module is a collection of it's a collection of file along with the dependencies. So instead of writing a code on the different places, what you can do, you can write everything all together in a single module. And I think this is the best way to manage your code, right? So let's come to the module now, right? And I'm going to create a module. So choose the name of module. Let's say VSFTPD. Go to VSFTPD. I'm inside this module folder. There's an folder name called VSFTPD. What I'm supposed to do now? Actually, I have to write a code for this module. So basically a module has some directory structure, which means there are certain directories you need to create. Manifest need to be created, test need to be created. If you want to create some facts, so yes, you can create it. Um, yes, what else? Okay, we'll see that. Is there anything required? Yeah. So we need to create some set of directories inside this manifest. This is a structure which you cannot change it, right? Then you have to go to manifest folder now. There's nothing. Create a pp file here and put your code down, right? Yeah, sometime you can create one more folder called files. If you want to copy a file, a static file as it is from server to client, you can put this file down here inside this particular folder, right? So you can see this is what I have. This is a structure of the direct module. So create a module by some name, some meaningful name, like in my case VSFTPD, and inside that you can create some set of folder, right? And different folder basically belong to a different purpose. So manifest basically keep the pp code, puppet code inside. Test is basically a folder which through which you can test your code down from the server first. Instead of deploying down to the client, you can test it first on the server, right? Facts are basically a directory which can help you to create a custom facts, right? So you can see there are a lot of facts are created. Facts are more like variables created by Puppet to pull the information. Because see how the Puppet going to know about the status of your machine. I mean, what kernel version you are using, what OS version you are using, what are the packages, etc., etc. So those things is basically the facts basically help the master or help the puppet master to know about this thing, the RAM information, the partition information, because there isn't something. I mean, there must be some services. There must be something required by the puppet master to know about the status of the machine. You can see when you run this factor command. Now, factor command will tell you the facts basically. So you can see the processor information, the Ruby platform, the SSH status, etc. Right? So there's so many information here. Some partition informations are there because we need something. We need some guy to tell the master about the status. So facts are the thing which basically tell to the master about the status of the machine. And you can create some custom facts because these are the standard facts which are available. Values are different because it is depend on the status of your machine. Maybe one machine is Red Hat, second is Ubuntu, third is SUSE, right? So how master will come to know? Basically with the help of this family as a parameter and the value which is stored here. So this value basically tell to the master to take the action according to the type of OS you are using it, because no one is there to tell you the master about this thing. So facts is basically a kind of helping component. It's a kind of variables designed by Puppet, but you can create a custom facts as well, because you may want to call a machine explicitly. You want to tag some machine explicitly. So anyways, so this is what the facts are. So facts, we know files basically a directory which help you to copy a file from server to client, static kind of files. So let's come to the manifest, create a file by any name, right? And it is always good to have a init if it is a first file, right? And here you can write your code, whatever you want. Like in my case, maybe this is my class name, which is file server, right? Open bracket, and then package, and then you have name of package. I'm writing a very simple code so that we can at least know that how to use this Puppet. My objective is not to make your code complex. My objective of making this video is to make you understand how this thing works, so that once you are okay with the level 1, you can easily upgrade to level 2, right? So present, yes, and this thing is close. This you can write thousands different resources inside. And if the you can see we have 29 resources, but if you want to know more resources, if you need a more resources now, you can go to a certain Puppet Forge and you can download those ready-made resources or modules. Currently we have 29, but if you want, either you can create in a Ruby language if you know the Ruby, otherwise go to the Puppet Forge, download the resources. So this is what my class is, right? And class name must be the name of your module. It is not mandatory, but it is good to go with these certain rules. I will tell you later. So my name of module is this thing, VSFTPD. So you need to write this thing here, VSFTPD, right? So this is what my code is. So this class name is VSFTPD, and this is the name of this thing. If your file name is different, I will tell you this later. Anyways, so this is init.pp. Your module is ready. Is there anything to want to copy to the down to the client machine? Let's create that one. Inside the files, I have one file called copy. I mean, you can write anything. Some static, and this is static file. Currently I have this thing. Let's come to the class again. So I have this static file which I want to copy to the agent machine. So you need to write some code actually. So where to write? Inside the manifest, you can see I have this class, right? Inside this you can write one file resource which will help you to copy this Then let me see this thing. So how to write it? So this is a structure basically. So you need to write puppet colon 3 time colon and then slash and then module and then this thing. And here we have example like this thing, source space puppet colon 3 time module, name of module and the name of file. All right, so it's starting from single quote, closing with single quote, and puppet is there, then colon. Okay, so let's back to here. Modules, name of module is vsftpd, and the name of file is what was the name of file? Static is the name of file, right? So we need to write a static. So what is going to happen? This is a class name is this package will install, and the second resource is file resource, which will basically create this file on your target machine, right? And it will copy the content from the server, which is this is the location basically on my server side. So it is going to copy the content from the static into this location on my target machine. So my this thing is ready. Let's put this up, and this is okay. So how to call this particular module? So you need to go back to your primary location, which is this, and I have this manifest. You know that this is a node.pp, and simply you can write include a name of class vsftpd. Simply you have this module ready, right? The code and everything, all static file and all. So let's come to the agent machine now. You have to check this package first. Yes, it is there. Remove it and remove the FTP as well. So let's run this command, puppet agent -d, connecting to deployment pool. And yes, I can see this package is installed. So if you see this now, yes, it is installed, and I have this file created in my machine. You can see where is space my file. Yeah, you can remove this up, no issue. There is no file by this name, but whenever you run this command now, it will create that. That is the beauty of the Puppet. And yes, the file is here. So this is all about some basic information. In the next video I will come with the file server, uh, right, and we'll discuss some more thing, some more interesting thing, right? So thank you, bye bye.